Hey there, YouTube. Let us get a little talk about this optic. So the HS, you've seen this on a few of my other videos, the HS 403C. So you've seen this optic on kind of the rifle I'm testing, this Gray Ghost Precision or Ghost Firearms, Ghost Precision, Grid Defense Upper. So let's get into the optic that I'm testing with it. It is a budget option. It is the HOLOSUN HS 403C. So kind of some a little bit about HOLOSUN, Chinese-owned company. They are known to make budget options and they seem to mimic a lot of kind of the higher dollar. They compete with everyone. They go against Vortex. They go up against EOTech. They go up against aim points. So kind of HOLOSUN's job is what they do is and in my opinion, they did a good job at it, making optics cheaper than their competition, all of them. They're not afraid. They also throw in a solar feature, at least with this design. So the difference is the HS403B does not have the solar option, full disclosure. What it comes with, which kind of puts it on the top, is it comes with a mount. It comes with two. It comes with just a plate that if you want this to sit lower, you can. It also comes with a mount. So what they're doing is making this completely operational. Instead of just buying an optic, then you have to buy the mount. So example, you pay for like an aim point and you want to raise it higher, you got to buy a mount for it too. So whereas with this, they try to put it all in one. So then that way they kind of cater to the budget market on this. So let's get into this. So the HOLOSUN itself, this solar feature, it is I find this to be a decent feature on it if you like that sort of thing. Here's the battery case. The battery it takes is a CR2032. I paid for it. I got this actually a while ago, so it was a lot cheaper when I bought it. Nowadays, you see them running, at least as of January 2020. Today on Amazon, you can find them for $189.99. You can find them on HOLOSUN's website for $235.28. You can find them on Optics Planet for $205.99, and there's plenty of websites where you see them hovering about the $198. You can also find them cheaper for about $150, $140 on a sale. Now, when I paid for them, I paid $129.99, and then they dropped to $105. Now, due to the trade war, prices on HOLOSUNs have gone up, or they may have just raised their prices because I don't know, because they should. To be honest with you, for the quality, you can kind of see it. I've ran this through one class. The class was raining, and they advertised this as being waterproof. I didn't get any water in the battery tray. The optic works. I didn't get it in anything, so good on HOLOSUN for that. Now, some features on it. You got 2 dots. Just to let you know, 3 clicks up, it will override the solar feature, which we will talk about. So the solar feature, it is a good option. It does prolong battery life. However, it dims your red dots. So when you're running it through a class, if you point your red dot at a light in like sunlight as an example, or if you're in a room that's bright, you hold it up with the solar feature, you won't be able to see it. The red dot goes away, so you have to override it. Just to let you know, when it gets dark out, and if you're just on the solar feature, the red dot starts to dim and dim and dim until you can't see it. So just kind of letting you know, you override it, works great, and you can adjust the settings accordingly. Now, I find in perfect lighting, not too bright, not too dark, the solar, without running the batteries, work great. So just kind of a disclosure, that is one thing I don't like about the solar feature, is when it's on, it'll be kind of dimmer than if you were to override it to set it on bright, just so that you're aware. So kind of to adjust it and zero it, you got this top part, you got the side part, and as you see, it's got a little notch for the tool that you can, I'll just take this off so that you can see it. So this cap acts as a tool. It's got it built in so that way it makes zeroing easier, is what they claim. And then you got just it. I've also found the threading to be very good on this, at least for me. I didn't have these caps fly off. I know that's one thing some people had a gripe on, or some people did not like, was that they said that they would lose these caps. I haven't lost mine. I ran it through one class. So I'll let you know in an update video on it. So HOLOSUN advertises this as to be one of the easiest to zero. I agree it's easy to zero, but they don't really, in the manual, or pretty much, they don't really say how to zero it, which way turns what way to adjust your sights. They don't talk about it. So just like in the manual, they don't tell you the battery. So I found that to be kind of, just look on the website, do your research on how to zero it, because you will be like me, get there and get really angry. So let's kind of talk about what also it comes with. It comes with tools, and then a manual, and then different stuff to adjust different things. So let's, it also comes with these little rubber, I don't know, kind of covers for when you're not using it. I always, whenever I'm using it, I just put them down like that. And then I go, and then I get into my grip and that sort of thing. So there we go. I found this to be kind of a great option. Like I said, the light's a little dimmer. Let's see if I can. Oh, it's going to be tough. Oh well, I'll do that in another video when I do a review on it. We'll zoom in and look at the dot. It's just a regular dot, people. It's like nothing fancy at all. So kind of, here's another thing people complain about, just to kind of let you know, is the mount itself. This mount. They don't like that it's just one screw. Now, mine is not Loctited. Believe it or not, I purposely did that because I wanted to see if it would fall off. I tightened it like hell, and to be honest, it's still on after I put 460 rounds during that class. We put 400, about 460, maybe a little more. I don't know the exact amount. I have it written down somewhere. So kind of, it's sturdy, locks in place. Like I said, it's pretty solid for what it is. Now I understand the one screw, for those of you that operate, that really like bang your rifles and that sort of thing. I get where you're coming from. Completely honest with the mount, I think there is better option. I think that you should go with a better option with 2 screws to kind of keep it stable, 1 screw, you know, but just letting you know from my experience with the one I have, I did not Loctite it on purpose, and honestly, it's held on just fine, and so far 1,000 rounds. So I'll let you decide if that's going to be for you. So kind of, again, on the pricing, it's up to you also. They have gone up in price, like I said. The days of them being $129.99, I think, are done, at least for now. They still compare, kind of on the market also, what compares to them. Sig Romeo, I know the Sig optics kind of compare, not all of them, but Sig has a budget option, if I remember right. Vortex, they have a budget option that kind of competes with it. So there you go. My opinion, those are the only 3 I would really look at, is Sig, the Sig Romeos. I would look at other HOLOSUNs and Vortex if you're looking at budget options. Those are kind of the big ones. I'm going to be testing a few other ones, so kind of what people think about it. Well, people who haven't shot ARs before kind of like the red dot. They say, you know, a lot of people who have a lot worse options. Example, like I have a buddy who had an NC Star, and he tried my HOLOSUN, and since then he tried this specific HOLOSUN, and he liked it. He just couldn't afford an aim point, still can't, so he picked this up, and he picked up the 403B, and he likes it. So there's that. New shooters, they pick up this optic, and they say, oh, it's a pretty cheap comparison to like an EOTech or an aim point that I played in Call of Duty. And, you know, Minnesota's kind of a weird state like that. So a lot of people in the suburbs, like, they like ARs, but like they don't own them, and they don't know anything other than what they know about Call of Duty. Go out to the country in Minnesota, and yeah, you see people who really know what they're talking about. Now, me personally, I like EOTechs, okay? I like EOTechs, I like aim points. like I said, that's just what I like. Now, when it comes to the low power variable optics, I like them too. But I wanted to test a budget option, so I looked at this HoloSun and decided to pick it up. When I picked it up, I think I paid $129.99, and then I saw them drop in price to like $119, $115, $109 even. Now, you can still find those sales. They're just not as low as they once were, and I'm not sure what it's going to be like since we're on a trade war. So, I guess we'll figure it out. Now, HoloSun themselves as a company, I'd say I like them. I mean, they make a budget option for everyone. I'm okay with that, in my opinion. Like I said, I do like nice stuff, so I'm snobbish that way about what I like for myself. But as when it comes to other people, man, you just buy you. I mean, there's nothing wrong if you can't afford an EOTech or an Aimpoint. I get it. So that's why I'm doing some things on budget, because I want to give that information to you so that you don't waste your money on junk. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say this HoloSun is not junk for the price. If you can run it through a class, if some police, like local sheriffs, I know of a local sheriff in, not where I live, but in the town over, they started using HoloSuns on their ARs. So just kind of letting you know, they're starting to get known for quality. So would I recommend them? I would say yes for a budget option for now, with a little disclaimer. Now, I live in Minnesota. It gets really cold here. It's cold often. Minnesota has been, I mean, when you live in the Midwest, it gets, like, the cold kills everything. Like, we have winters forever, so this is where kind of it goes based on your area. So when you live in a cold state, it known to kill everything from EOTechs to Aimpoints to Vortex to HoloSun to you name it. The cold's gonna kill it at some point. Now, I'm gonna be testing this just to see kind of, hey, here's when it died. Here's what killed it specifically in the cold, because I'm not gonna fault the optic itself if it doesn't work if I throw it in the cold and it dies, because it could just be the battery. Like, my buddy and I, we were walking around outside on his land out in Minnesota. It was like -10. We were just shooting just to test stuff, and really quickly we found stuff that dies. And pretty much everything died. We checked, it was batteries. Mostly it was battery issue related. Other times it was the optic just needed to warm up. So that is kind of what I'm going to be doing to the HoloSun, is testing that. Especially if you live in a cold state, like there's not a lot of data, and just to put it in a freezing block of ice and in a freezer, I mean, that's a good starting point. But when you get the wind involved, the humidity involved, or the dryness involved in our in winter wonderland that we call the Midwest, it kind of has different effects on different optics, different ways. Like sometimes it just shuts down and then starts back up when you get in the house and heat it up for no reason. Other times it's the battery. Other times the optic cannot handle it. Like my buddy's NC Star died in the cold, and that is why he went with the HoloSun 403B. He picked one of those up, and yeah, so we're going to be putting these through the Arctic, kind of our simulation of the land of the ice and snow. I've already taken it outside once when it was -2. It hasn't been that cold yet for me to say that that's a good indication, but it did work. Like I said, how I do it is I take the upper off and I walk around, because I live in the suburbs, and you don't want to be that guy walking around with your AR-15. So usually I walk on the trail, because where I live, I border the country. So usually I take a walking trail in the freezing cold, and then I'll throw it in the snow, and then I'll throw it in kind of a wet, icy spot of mud and a frozen or freezing mud and stuff like that, just to see if it kind of what happens. I'll get it dirty, and I do that a lot. So I like the cold. So me personally, I don't mind taking a trip out to see it. So I think it's a good indication, because we need a lot more cold weather stuff. So that's what I'm going to be doing to this optic, is seeing if it can last in the freezing cold. Once temperatures drop a little more, then we're going to test this. So this is going to be my first look at the HoloSun HS 403C. So we're going to take this through the cold. Do I recommend it for a budget option? Yes. I'm going to say hands down. If you cannot afford anything and you're like, hey, I'm torn between this HOLOSUN or saving in extra money on an NC Star or saving extra money on a, I don't know, one of those $29.99 true whatevers that you find in like Cabela's in their budget deal for $10 or something. I don't know. I recommend this is going to be probably one of the better budget options for your money. Some things to look at is going to be SIG, and the other one is going to be Vortex. But if you feel like this is still a better option for you because of the price, I'm going to tell you, just jump on it, go with it. Worst case, you hate it, and at least you're only out, at least on Amazon, $189.99. So anyway, this is my first review on this optic. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and remember, stay frosty.